6-inch thick wall. So what do I do? Offset.
Do we need to make it a component?
Not yet. Offset. Click out. What's the distance? 6 inch. So I now have what looks like a paint can lid, but it's actually a 10-foot diameter with a 6-inch wall. I'm going to delete the inside, just keep the ring, and make that a component. Double click, right click, component. And I'm doing stuff you guys have done by now 100 times. So you've seen this before. I'm going to edit that component and extrude it up 10 feet. Okay. I want to make a 6-foot door into that thing. But doors, actually they are round, so I can't say they aren't round. Most doors are square or rectilinear, right? So I need a rectilinear opening in this round thing to put the doors, right? Everybody with me so far? So in plan, I should be in parallel, not perspective. I'm going to draw a rectangle that is 6 feet by 6 feet. You remember how to do that? I click the start point, I drag it out, and then I type in 6 feet, comma, 6 feet. There is a 6-foot rectangle, 6-foot square rectangle. Okay. I'm going to go to 3D view and I'm going to pull that up. What are most doors? How tall are they?
8.
Nope.
10.
Nope. Any other guesses?
6.
I heard it. Somebody said it. 7. Generally, have you guys ever heard 3070? You ever heard that term? 30 is 3 foot 0 inches. 70 is 7 foot 0 inches. So if you ever hear of a contractor or a builder say 3070, they're talking about a 3 foot by 7 foot door. Okay. So we're going to make a 6070, or either a pair of doors that are 3 feet or one door. So we're going to extrude this guy up. How much?
6 feet.
7 feet. Right? 3070. And what it should look like, or what it looks like, is a cylinder and a square intersecting. Now, who remembers the process that you can tell me?
Scale.
No. What do I need to do first? I need to explode the cylinder, right? I click explode. I need to select all the objects, and then a right click, intersect face with selection. Just because my geometries are different, the tools and the use of the tool is exactly the same, right? So intersect with selection. Now the rest is just cleanup, and you can do the cleanup however you want to do it. If you want to use Claudia's method of pick a plane, delete, that's fine. If you want to use my method of the crossing window, that's fine. However you get there is up to you. I'm not dictating that. But what I did do is create a 6-foot opening in a round plane. You cannot do that with push-pull. You can't push-pull a vertical curving surface. You can do it up and down, but you can't push-pull it in and out. The only way to do what I just did is to make an object as like a cookie cutter and cut the objects apart. Right? Intersect them and then cut them apart. That's the only way to do it. Everybody understand that?
Show me how you drew that rectangle again, because mine keeps coming out in a different spot. It's not in the cylinder.
I'm gonna make a new one. This time I'm gonna make a window. Okay? Same process.
Okay.
So I'm gonna select this guy and make it a component. Right? In plan, and it's not showing me this door. I'm gonna put the window over here, let's say. Okay? So I'm gonna make a square. And I said 6 feet. So I clicked once to make the rectangle, 6 feet, comma, 6 feet, enter. There's my rectangle, right? Now, if you're any good at geometry, you probably know the distance from here to here is not 6 feet. And it's not 6 feet because the way that my rectangle is oriented to the circle is not the same distance. So I'm just going to rotate this guy real quick so it's essentially, or pretty close to being perpendicular. That's probably right. Okay? So all I have is this rectangle on the floor. Now, have you also noticed where do the top of windows align usually? When you have a door and a window, where's the top of that window? Or
The
head of the
casing,
window?
or
Say it again?
just right on the casing and the molding, no?
Well, okay, what height does that mullion have?
Oh,
Aren't they usually 2 feet down from the ceiling?
Well,
We did that on something.
maybe, but generally, at least I do, and I know other architects do, they line the top of the windows with the top of the doors, generally, right? So that would mean that the window is at 7 feet, the top of the window is at 7 feet. The bottom can be wherever you want it to be, depending on the height of the window. But generally, they are lining along the top, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use push-pull on this rectangle, and I'm gonna snap to the top of that door.
I've never been able to make that work, and I've tried it about
It's
1,000
an
times.
art. It's an art. You have to
It is.
keep trying. You can use numbers, but I find it easier just to snap. You can use numbers, so that was 7 feet. So you can type in 7 feet, that's fine. I'm gonna rotate down, and I'm gonna push the bottom up. I like windows that start 18 inches off the ground. Anyone know why 18 is a pretty good number for the bottom of the window? Say it out loud. So if you wanted a window seat, right? Or if you have furniture in front of a window, generally seats are 18 inches off the ground. So I'm gonna put my bottom of my window at 18 inches because I don't need anything below it. There's gonna be furniture there, right? Now if it was the back of a couch or the back of a chair, what would the bottom of the window be? Say it again.
It would be
Usually
feet, wouldn't it?
30 inches, somewhere between 30 and 3 feet. So I had a teacher tell me once, all things in an interior environment are based on a 30-inch module, right? And it kind of made sense to me at the time, or it didn't make sense to me at the time, but now having practiced for a while, it makes perfect sense. So a love seat or a chair is 30 inches square, right? A couch is 60 inches by 30 inches, right? What do you call it? Not a chase, but a sectional, add another 30 inches. Everything is on a 30-inch unit. And it's not just in plan. That's 30 inches, this is 30 inches, and this is 30 inches. A 30-inch cube will get you 90% of the way to all of your space planning furniture. 90%. I meant to ask this at the beginning of class. How many of you are interested in getting your license? Okay? So you want to pursue your interior design license, right? Do you know? Yeah, so do you know that you have to take an exam? Okay, the exam's called NCIDQ. Okay, you know it's a 3-part exam. The first part, or probably the hardest part, is drawing, and you have to space plan, and you have 8 hours to do a complete design, from the floor plan to the reflected ceiling plan, furniture plan, the whole bit, including wire diagrams, toilet locations, and it all has to be right, spaced accurately, right? How do you do that? How do you do that so fast? you have to know rules of thumb like this, that most furniture occupies a 30-inch cube. If you know that, you are going to ace that exam. Well, that and other stuff, but this in particular. Okay? So, I don't know if they publish this data. I think they do. They used to. But I know architecture does. So the architectural equivalent to NCARB is called NCARB or NCARB.